We do love you, Leeds. Cheers, my boys. Hello, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds for Late Night Leeds. Sean, Adam, are you both well?
Very well, yeah. Just been out for a curry tonight with my boys, and I've actually come back early to do this for you lads. So,
hey, well, we appreciate
that. But yeah, it's been a good night.
Yeah, I'm very good as well. Dropped my missus off. She's out somewhere eating and drinking and dancing now. So when she comes in, all hell's going to break loose. But hopefully it's not during the show.
We'll have to keep show rolling then, won't we, for that moment? That sounds
entertaining, that's for sure.
Right, let's get into a few at chats, boys, before we crack on. So Danny's here as always. Thanks, Danny, mate. Smash a like and subscribe. Yes, please do. Also, please check out Sean at Wilco Whites as well, please. I'm going to harp on that plenty of times, as I always do. Righteous one, bored shitless tonight, which is great to know because he's in the right place for it. Absolutely brilliant. Righteous one. All good, just a bit boring Friday, chaps. Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. Make your evening a little less boring. Evening all these out we. Who else have we got in here tonight? Top Bananas in. Darren Val, this is 3-1 Leeds. I have it in my bets every week. He has to come in soon. It does. It does. Make sure you stick around and get your goal scoring as well, my mate. Nige, evening, guys. What's this one here? Top Banana. Not a realist, just negative when playing against the top 6 team. We should beat them all with the team we have in this division. Yes, we should, mate, and we will spank them tomorrow. Ina, evening. Jay, evening. MOT. There's Wilco White's channel gets stuck on there. I'm going 3-0 Leeds with Rothwell getting his first goal for Leeds. It'd be nice, mate. It really would be. So, like I say, welcome back to Late Night Leeds. Last week's show, last Friday, were absolutely epic. Went really well, didn't it, boys? Numbers, the feedback, everything what we got were brilliant. As you know, there's a poll in now, which we'll touch on soon, but we did a bit more professional this week with a poll. I mean, I'm right proud of myself. But last week it would just stick some past players, some of your favourite players in the chat, and Adam sort of put it in AI, came out with the most free cup player said, and it turned out to be the legend who we're going to start with to open the show. Is we want to touch on a little bit on Gary Speed. He won the vote, which is brilliant. You know, I think a couple of weeks ago, his birthday, what his 50th birthday, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, when I seen it earlier on Facebook. So, yeah, really, massive legend of Leeds. I haven't got as many memories when I was a wee boy, but I know Sean, being about 85, he knows a lot more than me. So, Sean, I'd like you to touch on a bit of Gary Speed, please. You know, a bit of Gary Speed chat just to open the show.
Gary Speed.
Yeah.
Well, I've got it. What I've got is he made his debut May 6, 1989. He came on. He obviously came through the youth setup at Leeds United under the guidance of Howard Wilkinson, the great man himself. Yeah, he came on for his debut. It was a boring 0-0 draw against Oldham Athletic. He made 312 appearances for Leeds, scoring 57 goals. And his achievements, obviously, we won the second division in 1989-90 season. He helped us gain promotion then. Then 2 years later, we won the first division before we became the Premier League. He was key in that team. Obviously, the midfield then was Speed, Batty, Strachan, McAllister. Legendary midfield that it was. One of his highlights, he scored a hat-trick against Sheffield United in the Premier League season of 92-93. He left the club after 8 years of service in 1996, moving to Everton. I mean, if you look at where he's been, it don't matter. He's always been a key player for every team he's played for, scoring goals. I mean, 65 appearances for Everton, 18 goals. Then he moved to Newcastle. He was there for 6 years, 285 appearances for Newcastle, which I didn't realise was so much. Yeah, scoring 40 goals as well for Newcastle. You know, I didn't expect that under Sir Bobby Robson. You know, Sir Bobby Robson absolutely loved him as well. Then he moved to Bolton Wanderers. He was there for 4 years, 139 appearances for Bolton Wanderers, 14 goals, and then he ended up at Sheffield United for 2 years, 40 appearances and 6 goals. Then moved on to his international career for Wales. Obviously, were a captain for many years for Wales. He played 85 times, scoring 7 goals. Then he moved into management, didn't he? And I think if you can all remember, like Sir Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey and Joe Allen, they were through. And he sort of he revitalised the Welsh national team, didn't he? He changed everything about it, and he will always be remembered that by a lot of the Welsh players. And then that was it. And then obviously the tragedy that happened in 2011, with him obviously passing away. But he's obviously in passing away, it shocked and rocked the football world. Obviously, the teams he'd played for, they weren't just small teams. That Newcastle, Everton, ourselves, massive teams with massive fans bases. So he was renowned worldwide. But just such a special player, hardworking, even his leadership at a young age as well. You could see it, especially playing against, with players like Gary McAllister and Gordon Strachan, who within themselves were leaders. So just a legend of the game and a legend of Leeds United, and he was actually just a legend wherever he went.
Legend of a man, just a top bloke as well, wasn't he?
Just a top bloke, and obviously with what happened, like I say, it just shocked everybody. But he's remembered for all the good things and all the right things, because he was just a true gent of the game.
Sadly for me, he was a little bit before my time in terms of Leeds player. I don't really remember him as a Leeds player or seeing him, but obviously seeing the replays and stuff of the games, etc. But in terms, so he was playing at Everton and Newcastle mainly. But I just remember how good he was in the air, like phenomenal in the air, and that really stood out. And to stand up for something as like, just like headering, like he was so good at his leap. He's such a good athlete. I think he scored 80 goals in the Premier League, and Premier League seen as such a modern thing, and he's still 8th in the all-time midfield goal scorer. Crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. And that's a good player he was. He's a proper goal scoring midfielder.
And that's I mean, looking into it, I mean, obviously we love him for what he did at Leeds United, and obviously you always follow ex-players like that throughout their careers, but I didn't realise he'd scored so many goals as he did, exactly. From the midfield. I think he generally played out on the left, didn't he? Gary Speed, but just an absolutely top player. And I think we couldn't have picked anyone better to kick off this segment.
100%.
No, 100%. So yeah, we'll end on that. Like I say, I don't think many players can play for so many top sides and be loved by every fan base like he was. So we'll end it on that note, I think. So as you've probably seen, chat, we've got a poll on, for next week's show. So we've got Yeboah, Batty, Viduka and Radaby. Keep selecting away there. I think I know who's going to win that one. It's probably unfair. I'm not too sure on that one. But yeah, we'll be opening next week's show with that segment, and we're going to discuss whoever wins that poll today, which we'll touch on at the end. But yes, we need to move on now to the BOREnley game. I call them BOREnley, not Burnley, because it was so boring.
Good name, BOREnley,
BOREnley. I think I've invented that. I don't think no one else has come up with that. I've noticed it myself.
Yeah, brilliant, Matty, again.
BOREnley. Yeah, BOREnley. So yeah, we'll have to touch on that, Sean. There's only one place to start with that, and that is going over to Statman Sean. Statman. There you go, mate. I love that.
Thank you. I love it. Love that.
Come on, Sean. But Leeds Burnley. Let's hear these.
Burnley going into the game. Let's big up Burnley. I mean, unbeaten in 16 were Burnley before this game, winning 10, drawing 6, scoring 21 goals, only conceding 4 in the last 16 games before this game. Leeds went into the game unbeaten in 11, winning 8 and drawing 3, scoring 23. And only conceding 9, so it was always going to be a tight game. I mean, I said it was going to be lots of goals in this game. How wrong was I? So yeah, you can see there on the on the screen there. 55% possession Leeds United, 45% Burnley. They did have a lot of ball, but they didn't do a lot with it, did they? Only managing 4 shots, Leeds 8 shots. 3 shots off target were Burnley's. One block shot. Did not manage a shot on target in Burnley. Although we did know better. It was the one shot on target. It was the Dan James one in the second half volley, which was tipped over by Trafford. You're just looking at the XG. It says it all about the game, doesn't it? 0.19 for Burnley. That's just ridiculous. And
so poor.
3-6. So boring.
You know what,
really disappointing.
I place all of the blame, 95% of the blame on Burnley. Like they're playing at home. The opportunity was theirs to, Sheffield United slipped up, Sunderland slipped up. They could make up some points, and they instead played for a draw or trying to sneak one somewhere. And because people say about Farke that Gruev and Barham started, is a little bit defensive, but I don't think he was necessarily defensive. I think his DMs always sit back. Barham went forward. Barham always backs up the play rather than overlapping, a bit like Firpo, but that's just his game. But all of it was on Burnley. They just went there for a draw at home and got it.
Yeah, they looked like the setup as a 4-4-2 for me. With Brownell sort of playing further up, but for me, I think we had a few key players off it. You look at the ratings that's on the screen there. I said Piroe had a bad game, and he did, and the ratings show it there, 5.8, one of the lowest out of both teams. Brendan Aronson, again, not at it, 6.4.
Nope.
So I think we had some key players. Solomon as well. He was doubled up on a lot at times. They did actually, like you said, they went for a draw. They set up defensively, and we struggled to break them down. So
I think I said to you guys before the game, Solomon versus Roberts and James versus Humphreys were mismatches. But that was quite a stupid comment, because what I didn't realise is how well they double up on them as well. Bogle sported really well and made a bit of a difference in that, but they didn't give Solomon a sniff, anything like a sniff. No. Every time Solomon got the ball, and Anthony just rushed back and made sure he made that too. And even the centre back covered it sometimes as well. So they knew what the dangers were, and they played them out. Like, you think when they double up on people, the space should be elsewhere, but it just didn't happen like that. Whether that was Aronson and Piroe having bad games and the space might have been theirs if they took it, but I don't know. But it's just, have either of you guys watched the game back by any chance?
No. I watched the Leeds United highlights.
I'm still trying to get off at first watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
Did you not see
the highlights? I watched.
Did you not see the edit that Leeds United, their media team, actually made, where it showed you? It actually said Leeds United official highlights, and they kicked off, and then full-time whistle blew, and it was like, that's hilarious. That's come direct from the club. That's how poor it was.
I wasn't bored during the game. I found the game, because there's so much on it. Like, I wasn't really thinking whether I was bored or not. I didn't come into my mind. Except for the first 10 minutes of the second half, where the quality dropped and everyone's just kicking it long or kicking it away. But in general, I wasn't bored during it. But then afterwards, last 10 minutes as well, it just petered out. No one even seemed to be trying to win it at that stage. Both teams settled for a draw. And do you know what? It's this game. It's that game there where, wouldn't it be nice if we won that game? We would have had 6 points on Burnley, 4 or 5 on Sheffield United. Was it 2 at the moment? So next week, so 4 on Sheffield United and 7 on Sunderland. Like I think Sean Healy was saying, 1 foot in the Prem if we win it, and it wouldn't be far off, because if any of those teams slipped up and we win in like the upcoming games, then suddenly that margin becomes 8-9 points to get over the sort of Burnleys and Sunderlands. But I don't think Farke necessarily went for a draw. I think that's been labelled him quite a lot. I think Burnley just played their way. I was a bit brash beforehand, like, it's different when you play Solomon, etc. But they played it so well. They played their game well.
What do you make of this comment from Darren, though? So obviously we're talking about doubling up on Solomon there, so there should have been space for the other players.
Exactly.
It didn't look like there was much space. They're really good. You double up on your players, and they're really good at getting back in position. They're just really well organised, and there's different ways to play football. Parker football is very boring. We say Farker's football's boring. It's not a patch on. That's boring, what we saw from Parker's side there. But does it matter? 3 points. We touched on it already in our chat. We speak back and forth every day. But like, for me, Burnley haven't got the players at the top end of the pitch. but they've got the players at the back end of the pitch. So you play to your strengths. So we can sit there and slag them off as much as we want. You know, would Burnley rather be a better attacking side than be 7th or 8th? No. They want to be in Premier League, and there's every chance Burnley go up this year playing that way. It sucks to watch, and they drew us into their game, and we lowered ourselves to that level, and it was a very turgid second half. I didn't think the first half was as bad as what people were suggesting, if I'm honest. I thought the first half it was all right. I thought the second half was really, really poor, but
I don't know what the chat thinks, but do you think we moved it quick enough?
Probably not.
I don't think we had the opportunity.
Well,
I think we can move it slightly quicker.
It reminded me a bit of when Gruev and Ampadu played in that midfield. I'm not putting it on Gruev, but with Tanaka and Rothwell, you'd see that the quick switch. So you know the quick switch out wide. So you'd change it from one side to the other quite quickly.
Yeah.
Where now Gruev's back in that midfield, we sort of slowed it down. It was sort of a slower transition to get it out wide to Bogle, which at times it was Bogle. And I think that played into Burnley's hands because it just allowed them to get back into their defensive position, which they're fantastic at. So I don't know. It was just what I saw. I thought we moved it really slow from switching it from side to side, where as a Tanaka or a Rothwell, you should sort of get the move it a lot quicker.
Well, I think they do
out
move it
wide
quicker.
into the spaces where we needed it to be.
I think they do move it quicker, but we never miss a man. It's not like, it always goes Tanaka road on Bogle. It never just like, they very rarely ping it still. I think Gruev, the best cross-ball he played all day was Gruev out to James, or I think it's Dan James.
No, but it's Rothwell. Like with Rothwell, he gets the ball, he's quick and he lets it go.
He drives with it.
Do you know what though? On the Rothwell, if he starts Rothwell and he's trying to do stuff all the time, Burnley is so well set up to nick the ball in their positions. It's never a transition. Well, it actually was a little bit early on, first half hour, but really, generally, it's never really a transition game. And after the first half hour, it wasn't. So if Rothwell's trying stuff, I think it might have come off less against Burnley than it does against other sides. Farks looks at them, well, actually, I don't want to keep giving the ball back. So let's just play. So I agree, there's a little bit of safety in playing Gruev. Gruev played, by the way, and I'm not saying neither of you saying something. Yeah. Gruev played really well. Like he's a proper midfielder, gets around, positionally, he's very savvy in defence, second balls, etc. I agree with playing Gruev in that game.
Can I just get your opinion on this? Sorry to butt him. Can I just get your opinion on what Andy said there? Because it's a really easy thing to say with Byram and Gruev being very good defensively, right? That's a defensive move. That's a negative move, a lot of people said. But I don't like that. I don't like that notion, me, because Byram's a very, very capable player. We've seen him get up that left stand. I mean, not being funny, we think he possibly should have had a penalty. He was the one furthest. He got him behind defence. He was furthest forward. He was his highest player.
I think playing him was a little bit risk averse in terms of the Fark way, in terms of
compared to Firpo, mate. Yeah, compared to Firpo.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Byram is a better defender. Anthony's their main threat. It makes a lot of sense to play Byram, much better defender. Byram backs the play up, backs the attacks up. Firpo goes beyond the attacks a lot more. Firpo beyond the attack, we lose the ball. Anthony's free. That's what Fark's thinking. And by the way, an important summary of that, by the way, no matter what, we had enough half chance in the first half to find an assist, a final ball for an assist, or a decent shot to win the game. We had enough. I know it actually doesn't look great, but I think, and that's because we didn't have a lot of shots. But I think we had enough positional. Like Aronson was bursting forward at one stage through the middle, and he played bloody Solomon near enough into the corner flag. And I think you're in about just take it on yourself, be a bit braver. But so I think we had enough to actually win the game regardless. And when there's such small margins there, you nick it 1-0, everyone's delighted. You lose 1-0, everyone's gutted, everyone's looking at everything negatively. You win 1-0, everyone's looking at everything positively. Fark's a genius. You lose 1-0, Fark's an idiot.
If that shot goes in by Dan James, mate, the game was identical. It'd be a totally different notion by fan base just by that one shot going in. I totally agree with that, Adam. It's a great point for me. It weren't the best spectacle, it wasn't. But I mean, what you thinking, Sean? Good point.
Yeah, but
frustrated.
Is it the system? Is it the system or is it the players? Because you've just
the opposition.
And we're going to talk about Brendan Aronson because he infuriated me against Burnley. And it wasn't just me. I mean, even the commentator mentioned about, and you just said it then, how he gets the ball in good areas. He don't release it quick enough. He holds onto the ball and gets tackled, or he makes the wrong pass, i.e., like he did. He could have been more direct. He could have slipped either Piroe or I think it was Dan James through into space, but he didn't. He pushed it out wide, went to Solomon straight away. It slows the game down, allows Burnley to get back in. So that's on the player, that not Daniel Farke. Obviously, yeah, away from home, we wanted to keep possession a lot more. It's understandable. But I think individually, they let themselves down. And like I say, you said about Brendan Aronson there. And that's what I saw about Brendan Aronson. Also cutting back a lot. We seem to be, it was sort of the safe option to go to is cut back, play it back to our defenders, and we build it from there. But yet sometimes we'll play it forward, get into them good positions where we can actually do something. But yet there were a couple of times where, again, Brendan Aronson, it's still cut back and play it back. So it's all right being risk averse and not taking too many risks, but you've got to sometimes just try and get into these areas where we can hurt teams. And I don't think we did it enough against Burnley.
Do you not think, though, with Brendan Aronson being the player he is, we know he hasn't got the best pass, he hasn't got the best shot. He's good at a lot of stuff, but not brilliant really in anything other than pressing. For me, he's brilliant off the ball. With the ball, he's okay.
Yep.
Against Burnley, you're wanting someone who can play the perfect pass, really, because the margins are so because the margins are so fine. That ball's got to be on the money. It's so difficult when there's too many bodies there for me.
Isn't it crazy to say your 10 can't strike a ball very well for a pass or a shot? It's actually if Aronson took a goal kick, he'd be like an under 11 taking a goal kick, and I think he'd get it about 30 yards from the goal as a maximum. I'd like to see him try it. It's obviously quite unfair, but I mean, Aronson does this thing where he'll run forward and keep he'll almost run back round the defender and come back to something. But you're right though. That's not Farke. Farke's played Rutter, the most attack-minded, take every risk every time he gets the ball player ever in 10 last season. And he will play him there now if you had him, obviously. But he's playing Aronson because, I mean, that's so deep. I'm not quite sure we go with that. Why Aronson, not Nonto, not Ramazani? The complication. I mean, he does my head in sometimes. I was trying to explain last week what I think Farke's thinking is, but I don't necessarily stick up for it because Aronson in games like that just is not going to win you that game.
And that's what Farke's touching on is when we're saying we need a different type of number 10. And I can see it in chat. Right House One or whatever it's called. Yeah, exactly right. We need somebody who can a bit of flair, who can pick a pass.
100%.
You can see options that other people can't see. And we keep going back to Pablo Hernandez. He was brilliant at that.
Imagine.
And he could put ball in back at net from edge at box, which we don't have. I mean, for me, I was watching that Burnley game. It was screaming out for a Rutter or a Somerville, someone just to do something unexpected. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like a Rutter had just skipped through 3 or 4 players with a ball.
It was exactly that type of game.
He sort of just went through the motions.
It wasn't a game where you have sustained pressure from either side. No. So when you get that at moments, it's all about moments, and your players taking the moments. Aronson is so far from a moments player because he can't. Someone like to find that pass or shot. Ramazani has found that shot recently. Could he come on earlier? Possibly. But then, of course, Aronson, we've got the second best defence in the league. And Aronson's a lot to do with that, I think, the press, etc. And the defensive work he does. It's mental to label that as a 10 as one of your main defensive assets. That's just crazy. I don't really like it, but it's true to say. And that's why Farke likes him, obviously. He knows his limitations. He knows what he's all about. He knows how good Ramazani and Nonto are, but he picks him every single time.
You just want somebody just to make some just I don't know, be confident in trying something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Where a lot of our players are sort of regimented in how the system is.
Yeah.
And that's why I liked Rutter, because he just, regardless of the system, regardless of what he'd been told, he'd try something anyway.
Oh, he'd try everything. He'd do your head in sometimes, though, wouldn't he? He'd be like 5-yard layback, and he'd try and turn 3 players. Just go, no, just pass it to someone else once,
But of course, sometimes it would work.
Yeah.
And that's why we loved him. And I think we're missing that a little bit.
Yeah. Of course we are. Solomon's not going to beat 2 players, really. No. That's not his game. He can, he has done. In general, that's not his game. James is more a run beyond. He's not going to pick it up and beat 3-4 players in general. Piroe's definitely not, and Aronson's not. So in those moments games, Solomon's not shown any really thing to cut in and bend one in top corner. He's not done it once this season. So in those moments games, it's just we didn't have that moment player that finds you that assist or goal from nowhere, which is exactly what we needed. We didn't have that attack on the pitch. Maybe the argument is, of course, we had them on the bench, and that's sort of what we're saying. But Farke's like, like I say, you take Aronson off, you take a lot away from the defence, and he wasn't willing to do that, and that may have been the right thing to do, of course.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say when you look at how our strikers play, Joseph really likes attacking that near post when his wingers get there to byline and whip it in? Piroe is probably more dependent on having that 10 in central areas who can pick him out more than what probably Joseph is. Like I say, Joseph likes finding that space, beating that defender to that near post when those balls come in. But I feel like when Aronson isn't at it, I feel like a lot of games Piroe's not at it, if you get what I mean, regardless of what the wingers do. I know we've had balls come across box and Piroe's headed them and put them away as well, but I do feel like there's quite a correlation between when Aronson's not playing well, Piroe ain't really playing well. Have you picked up on that, guys? It's not usually one plays well and one doesn't. Both usually quite often, and these stats in this game in particular prove this, don't they?
Yeah, you could have a point there. I mean, they both played bad. Piroe were bad. This isn't just an Aronson bashing.
No, exactly. No.
Piroe were bad. I think he hasn't been up to scratch past few games, and I thought his first touch were bad. Aronson's first touch were bad. What's the saying? You've got a bad first touch, and your second touch is a tackle, isn't it, or something like that? It is, isn't it? And it's and I think to have them both having bad games didn't sit well against a team like Burnley, because Solomon won't get in a lot of joy, and Dan James won't get in hardly anything in that, especially in that first half.
That was a shame, wasn't it? That when as star men, which have been as wingers in the last 6 weeks, weren't quite able to impact a game. There were no one else in that game who could win it. Don't get me wrong, it was Burnley. So this is where, when I've been angry a few times this season, where it's been away form, has been issue. There's always been a pattern. With this, it does feel like just a singular game, a singular moment in isolation. So there is. I don't think it's worth looking outside that much more. But yeah, in this game, if there were a pattern, it would be if Solomon and James can't get into the game tomorrow and we don't win game, I'd start to see a problem. But I don't envisage that. I think it would just Burnley, lads.
It proves it, because his most attacking player were Bogle as right back.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I mean, he was getting forward. He were the only one who looked like he were.
And you had Byron. And Byron got up there nearly with a penalty. He nearly won a penalty. Don't forget that.
So that said it all for me there.
You said, Sean, about if you're bad first touch, your second touch is a tackle. That's not for Piroe, though, because he doesn't make tackles. So he'd have a bad first touch and just stand there and watch it leave. Let's watch someone run off with it.
Exactly.
But by the way, like on the whole Piroe thing, like we've also seen a lot this week, and I sit there and it's really, I'm going to be, I sit there and watch games. I call Piroe an effing donkey about 7 times. I shout it at the TV. I scream it at the TV. You say bounce off him, but at the same time, always after the game, I settle down and go, Farke knows exactly how good Piroe is. He knows exactly what he's about. He knows exactly how good Joseph is and what he's about. And Piroe's not in a team really to do build-up play, because he's not fantastic. He's okay at it. He's not there to win knock-ons. He's not to hassle defenders, anything like that. He's there to finish. So if he's finishing his chances, Farke's happy because he knows what he's about. If he stops finishing his chances, there's a real problem. He had one that's blocked on against Burnley. I think it's probably going in. It's a really good effort, actually, like from sort of 17, just on the edge of the box. But I think the debate's gone because Joseph just... I know we weren't even having this debate, by the way. Joseph is not showing anything still. He's just not. He's not. He comes on his first touch isn't great. I know some people struggle as subs and starters. I looked back over the stats of the season. How many games both have started? How many games, and then how many games Leeds have won and goals have scored in those games? It's really, really similar. Like really, really similar. Not in terms of the amount of games, but goals per game. How many games we've won out of X amount? It's really similar. There's not a lot in it. So on that basis, I listened and thought, well, Piroe starts every single time then, because if a chance falls to him, either of them is Piroe. And as annoying as he is, but by the way, Aronson and Piroe, this debate is fine. They're a means to an end in terms of being championship players that aren't ever, well, not ever. They're not going to be starters in the Prem because they can't be. They just can't be.
What I will say is, if that debate is back now, where a few people are calling for Joseph to start, if we don't sign anybody or we do whatever, I will guarantee if Joseph was to start the next couple, he probably won't score, but Piroe will come on and score just because That's what this season's proved. So regardless of whether Joseph starts the next game or not, which I don't think he does, I think Piroe deserves to keep playing. I don't think we've seen enough off the bench for Joseph to claim that shirt. I just don't see it. Has Piroe done that bad to lose it? I'm not too sure, if I'm honest. We're still picking up points. We're still winning games. Goal scorer up front. If you're not scoring goals, you're going to get ripped apart. And he's got a few games now without a goal. So I sort of understand the claims for people saying Joseph to start. But like I say, I think you can start him. I don't feel like he's the man myself. And I do believe if Piroe comes on for 20 minutes, he does win his shirt back. And we've got evidence to prove that. So same with Willie Gnonto at a minute. I mean, he didn't come on in this game, but in terms of when he comes on off the bench, these players have to win the shirts back. The players that are starting now, Solomon, he was a bench player early season. Came sub appearances, wins his shirt back. Piroe, same. Ramazani had his shirt obviously at one point, lost it. He's got to win it back now. A lot of these players, James has had his moments, last season as well, on and off. You've got to win your shirt back with these small minutes you get. Some people say 20 minutes isn't enough. Sometimes in this side, that's all you fucking got, lads, and you've got to do more with it. And some of these players are good enough for a 20-minute stint, Adam.
Do you know what on that though? Ramazani, like the sub appearance he did really well on, goal and assist, was after he played the full game against Harrogate. And so he got 90 minutes in his legs, and suddenly he's match sharp. And if he didn't play the full game against Harrogate, I bet he wouldn't have had the same game coming on to some next game. It's really. I mean, I'm no great footballer, but if I was ever sub, because I showed off during training, so obviously I wouldn't be a sub anyway because I'd start the every game unless I've thrown my boots at someone or something. But anyway, and I was a sub on a Sunday. I really always struggled to come on and get up to the pace of the game. Really, really struggle. Whereas others come on, like Dan James. And he gets shrouded. So I think some people do struggle as sub, and it's the nature of it. I think Piroe comes on, and because he's a moments player, he's fine. Joseph, I think, needs to get into the rhythm of the game a bit, but that's no defence really, because it doesn't really matter. No. If he can't get up to the pace of the game, then he's not going to show. This is you say that's his opportunity. He had the opportunity against Harrogate. He looked probably a little bit sharper next game, but still not doing it properly. He's not coming on and showing the first touch, holding the player off. So. He's not, as you say, when Fast giving them a chance to show enough, I think he is, but they're not showing enough.
I wonder if mentally he's struggling a little bit as well, lads, with that mental edge, because you look at it and go, he was main guy, he then gets knocked down to second in pecking order. That's fine. Tries to win his shirt back, comes in, drifts in and out. At one point, he drops down to third place when Bamford takes his spot for a couple of games. I think that was Farker testing him, pushing him, showing him, you need to do more. He then gets to start against Harrogate, probably goes to bed night before dreaming of an FA Cup hat-trick live on BBC, probably thinking it's a massive opportunity. Don't get a sniff in that game either. His head must be all over the place, to be fair, because he's just out of form. We know he's a talented player. Look what he does at under 21s for Spain. I know it's under 21s. There were talk of him only 3 or 4 months ago, fast-tracking him into international first team. So we know there's a player there. But maybe mentally, something's just not quite there for him at the minute, because the ability-wise, it's all there for me. I don't know if he's trying too hard, he's forcing issue. I don't know if the shirt's too heavy. I don't know.
I think we said it before Harrogate game. He just needs a goal.
But he's had a couple of goals this season and never kicked on.
No, but but not for a while. And I think he just needs the goal, and it'd be like a weight lifted off his shoulders. And I think I'm starting to come around to the idea now of what you've said, Adam, where maybe Piroe is better coming off the bench. I changed my mind. I did, and I thought, no, it should be Piroe starting because he's a top goal scorer. But it's if he's not getting the service, then we need somebody up there who can create a little bit as well. Which I think maybe Joseph can. He can he does get into those positions.
He can pull defenders around, he can make defenders move, which might create space.
So I've changed my mind a little bit on that because I can only go off what I'm seeing from Piroe at the minute, and we've got nobody else. So I think, you have to go with Joseph. And we will touch on the Cardiff game. And maybe then have Piroe coming on as a sub. Because Piroe hadn't kicked on as I thought he would by starting these games. And again...
15 G&A though, mate. 15 G&A.
Yeah, he has, but it's like we're not... I mean, how many chances... I haven't really looked, but how many chances per game is he getting?
Not many, mate.
He's not getting many.
He's not missing.
The goals are coming from different areas from the team, and that's a bit worrying for me, and why, obviously, we're wanting a new number.
But like Adam was saying though earlier, and a lot of people have touched on it before, that if he starts missing big chances, then go give him stick, because that's what he's there to do. The movement, the running, all these attributes that he hasn't got, we're slaying him for not having it. But if he scores 2 goals and don't provide those attributes as well, we're all right with that. Don't matter.
So I'm trying to look at it. I'm going to try and look at it as a football player. I played up front. I was never a midfielder, but
go on, Sean.
I know. But for me, you'd want to make them runs, and you'd want either when you're midfielders or you're an attacking midfielder to see you making those runs and give you the ball. Now, we're not getting that off Piroe because, sometimes he does drop deep to receive the ball. And maybe that's the issue maybe with Brendan Aronson. He's not actually got somebody who's making those runs in behind that he can feed the ball through to him. I mean, we saw it in pre-season when he did that reverse pass. I can't remember who scored the goal.
Gruev, I think.
Gruev.
No. Yeah.
I mean, that was a beautiful reverse pass from Brendan Aronson, because the run was made. The run was made, and he saw it and he played it. And I don't think we're maybe getting that from Piroe at the minute. So
do you know what though? We're never going to get that from Piroe, are we? I think we all just know that. Like, so you say like Joseph is an option, but like Piroe is. I don't know how poor this man is, but he's a poor man's Mark Viduka. I don't know how poor this man is, but he's very, very poor. But the problem, Mark Viduka had the ability to hold the ball up. Mark Viduka was obviously slightly larger. He'd get the ball, he'd stick there, obviously controlling everything back. He wouldn't ever run in behind. He wouldn't chase anyone. He wouldn't harry anyone. But he's obviously a class player. Why is Piroe? Farke was a striker. How has he not taught him or made him back into centre back sometimes? Just make their life just 5% more awkward. He doesn't do that at all, and that's what frustrates me most. Because I know people say, "Oh, he's not that type of player." Because it looks like he's not trying. And obviously, that cannot be the case. It's just not the case. He's not trying. But back into centre back, win the occasion knockdown, he doesn't do any of it. He doesn't do any of the dirty work. He does no percent of it. 0% of the dirty work. 0 of it.
Because he's not a lone striker.
No, but you're absolutely right.
He needs a strike partner.
I agree.
Yeah, and why that's actually true?
He needs to be playing 2 up top to get the best out of Piroe.
I agree with that, but I think if you shoved any of us 3 up front, I think we'd make it. Well, we'd be obviously awful, but other than Matty, maybe it's classy words. But I
couldn't do them runs now, no way.
But you'd still chase after the ball. You'd still back in the centre back. You'd still get in a slight way or something. Surely he doesn't do any of that. Any ball is played long. I don't know if you can't judge a flight of it like a bird or something. He just sees it just like in the lights, but he doesn't even get anywhere near it ever. And it's not like he doesn't really make contact with centre back. He actually won a header Saturday and Monday. He just bounced his head and went over there. And I thought, wow, he's actually won a long ball. It's amazing. It went over back to leg somewhere. But
I think it's perfect. We'll go into it soon, but I think it's perfect game tomorrow for him to get a couple of goals or at least a goal and get rid of the shoulder. But right,
that's it, isn't it? He probably will. And then we all know who he is. Farke knows who he is, and it's not going to change. So
no, exactly. And like Righteous One says here, I think we can all agree there's no obvious solution for the Aronson Piroe Jose situation in the 9 or 10. And then he also goes to say a minute later, other than buying a 9 or 10. So before we go into that part,
or play top.
Yeah, well, I would just like to touch on Meslier. So I know it's not a massive talking point at the minute, but that's 3 clean sheets in a row. Yep. None of them really have been Meslier's doing, which I feel harsh, but he hasn't made any saves really in those 3 games, maybe 1. But the confidence must be massive for him, not picking the ball out of his net, as I've said before, but also that noise around a goalkeeper. I haven't heard anybody in this last week say we need to sign a keeper, where 3 weeks ago, all I was hearing, I even said so myself, keeper, the most important player to bring in January. That's died down a bit, giving him a little bit of that pressure's being lifted. I would imagine on him, 2 home games, 2 clean sheets, and then you go away to them and you get a clean sheet with not much, work to do. Do we feel we all agree he's probably going to have another mistake or 2 in him before the end of the season? But do we all agree now that time sort of passed now? He's been given an opportunity now by the lads in front of him to get these clean sheets and build that confidence up. And do we think there's that talk sort of settled down now till summer and he can just get his head into it now? Yeah,
I think everyone's just accepted that if what he is, he's going to be our number 1. He'll make it until his next mistake, and we'll all kick off again, quite rightly. Like he's not had any saves. Particularly, he had a couple of saves against Burnley. He had no saves whatsoever. The one time the ball did go near him, he sort of run under it a little bit, which he does because he's again judging the flight of the ball is really bad at.
Yeah.
But it's gone away until he comes back in. I think the only reason it's gone away is because everyone's accepted we are. If there's any noise about a new keeper, everyone will be really excited and still talking about it because there's not. And Falk said it's number one. That's it. It's gone away as a discussion. But do you know what, like Matty, like you said, we go up and Falk deserves a chance. We go up automatically. Falk deserves a chance in the Premier League. I think you're right. What about when it's first day of pre-season? He said Meslier is my number one in the Premier League. What happens then? What do you do then?
Sack Farker. Get out of my pub.
The last 3 games, lads. He's only had 3 shots on target.
Yeah,
in past 3 games.
And we saw that after the Sunderland game. Very similar.
Norwich, there were no shots on target. Burnley, no shots on target. Sheffield Wednesday were the only one that's tested him.
Yeah.
It's nothing to... I can't...
It stemmed the bleeding. It stemmed the bleeding. No, but it stemmed the bleeding for him personally. It has took... It's took that... It's not down to him, but it's definitely took the edge off. Definitely took the edge off because it were in a lot of heat coming that way, and the only way he's gonna do what I mean, he can't help it if his shot's on goal. But I tell you what, he can walk off that picture of Zeno against his name and think, "Thank God for that." You know what I mean? Regardless of how he gets it, it's got to be.
But the defenders being, thank God he didn't have to make a save. That's so like you know. I mean, they're all thanking God, but for different reasons.
100%. I would like to. I would wrapped up on Burnley. Anything else to say on the Burnley? Good point.
Nothing to say on Burnley, no.
Well, just had about 20 odd minutes if it's not done bad. But yeah,
well, no, it wasn't on Burnley, was it really? But
yeah, happy with point though. We move on, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody in the chat, everyone who watched this afterwards, if anyone were here last week, you all know we're asking everybody to put their predictions in. So we've got 2 games to do, so you've got to give us 2 predictions. That's right, Adam, isn't it? So you've got Cardiff tomorrow. We've got Coventry on Wednesday. So I want everybody in the chat now, anybody watching after it's been posted, to right there, score predictions down and bang 1 goal scorer in. Adam populates it all onto the table. There's going to be a prize at the end of the season for whoever comes top. I'm going to put the table in from last week. Doesn't matter if you enter however many weeks in, there's still a chance you can go top because obviously it's not something you're going to nail every week. But here's the table so far. We can all see.
I've just got a few comments on the table. So World White's is number 1 because he or she puts 0-0 obviously, so got the 3 points for the correct score. I've kept the 1, even when you get correct score, I've kept the 1 for a result because I think you should get 4. I
agree.
Anyway, then obviously no one got any for goal scorers, quite rightly. Mark's second and Arthur's third. He put 4-4 in the chat. I think he's taking
the point, I know.
But he got the point for the draw. Then now we have down the bottom. There's me and Danny because we're the 2 that back Burnley. I thought we deserved to be near the bottom. And then right at the bottom is Sean from Wilco White's himself because he put 6 goals in the game. He deserves the bottom on that prediction alone.
Oh, now I'm the stat man. I don't know nothing, me. I know nothing.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's how the prediction works. So, like you say, we've got 2 games before us next Friday. So, they get the Cardiff score in with the scorers and the Coventry score, which we'll touch on both after this next little part, which is going to be transfer chat, which I think has been very big talk the last couple of days. Potentially going to get more noise in the next couple of days. Where do you want to kick it off with, lads? I think there's only one place in there, Cameron Archer.
I think that's the only credible one for me. I'm not the tagger. I'm not even gonna. That's just. I don't even think it's a thing.
I agree.
We don't need a left back. Could we just be possibly something we do in the?
I think what we did. We probably sounded him out because in case Firpo leaves, and that's about it. And then everyone's gone a bit further at their end. Leeds, I think, like from Joe and Graham were saying, like Leeds end, no one's saying we're going to get, even trying to get target. So I don't think that's going to happen.
If we were only to bring in a left back, I'd be really disappointed.
Well, it'd be a mystery, wouldn't it? Why that had happened? Absolutely,
really 100%. Disappointed. That's not going to happen. So Cameron Archer, that's the one in it at the minute, and.
Are you happy with that? Are you happy with Leeds putting all their eggs in that basket if they get it done, Sean?
No, because what do you mean in just putting it in, just waiting for Archer?
Well, if we put all those eggs in that basket and if we don't get him, it's a travesty. But
waste of time.
Going for him, if we do get him, is he the answer to all those problems? Getting that one player, is he worth going for?
No, but it's a different option. It's better than what we've got.
I think so.
Bamford's never fit. He's not in the squad. He's just a waste of space at the minute. We need somebody else to back up Joseph and Piroe, as we can see. And yes, he's proven at this level. He's Archer. We know he can do it. He's had some good spells at Middlesbrough and Preston. I think it's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, that was a few seasons ago. Let's not go off what he's done, last season and look like that. But he struggled. Well, he has had game time in the Premier League. Let's not forget that this season.
Is it one of the worst sides ever, though?
He's in the worst side. What, they're on 6 points?
Yeah, they're going to beat Derby's record at this rate.
They're going down.
They are. I think Archer's been in my FPL team this season. He scored a goal during it, so he's got me points. So don't mind that. But I mean, like we discussed earlier, didn't we? And the noise around it is the problem with it is if you do an obligation on going up, if it's more than sort of 12, 14 million, you're putting a lot of that player coming in if it's more than 15 million, say that player's got to be a Premier League player next season, because you can't. There's no good going in a year, year off end of next season. We got up with Archer. He scored 12, 15 goals in the second half of the Champions, saying mental. But then he scored 2 in the Premier League and we're back down. And we didn't have any more money to get another. He had to be our number one striker because we spent so much money on him. Southampton did it with Harwood Bellis and Flynn Downs. They spent about 40 million on those 2 players alone. Got them up, and then they put a lot of their budget into them too. And they're decent players, but again, they don't really move the needle in terms of a Premier League side. They just fill gaps and they're okay. And we've got to be really careful with that. And by the time, I think we're looking for a bit of a unicorn here. I think in terms of Farks-free things, if we get anyone, because they've got to be better, they've got to be a loan with an obligation, and then we've got to see a player that's good enough to get in the Premier League. All that comes together to probably see us get no one, because that player there's not that player out there unless they suddenly become available. Yeah. I think we're definitely interested in Archer. Yeah. Southampton don't really sell him because.
Would you say, Adam, in an ideal situation, Leeds would want Archer just on a loan with an option rather than obligation? Because if you can get him where you just go end of season, he gets us up, great. We don't have to have him for 15 or 20 million. We can choose.
If he doesn't come in, we're not going to get to the end of the season and spend 20 million on Archer if we got promoted. We're not going to do it. It's not a thing.
Agree.
So if that's fact, which I can't say fact, if that's how we see it, then you can't do the deal. And that's the end of it.
That's how you've got to look at it, Adam. And if we don't have any talk about Archer now, we get promoted, and then Leeds go out in summer and spend 22 million on Archer as his number 9 or number 10. Leeds fans, I think, would be going, "What the chuff are we doing here?" But right now,
if you look at our squad now, and I'm going to ask you two a question and the chat. This is how I'm thinking about it. Go through our squad now, and we win the league, and we get promoted, and we get into Premier League. How many of our squad now are Premier League players?
Probably 5 or 6. It depends what it means, starters or a lot of them are worthy of being in squad.
Well, we say Rodon, we say Ampadu. We could say Tanaka, but Tanaka's not proven. He's never played in Premier League.
But Tanaka is, though. You've got to say he's Premier League quality, mate.
Yeah, but he's never. This is what I'm saying to you. We've got no Premier League experience really in that squad, so we're not going to sign players now for next season who aren't up to Premier League standard. And Archer doesn't fit the bill. Yes, he's playing at the minute, but he's not pulling up trees. I think when we get in the Premier League, we want players who are established Premier League players, not players who we think might be able to do it.
You want Iniacho?
I think we've got enough of those players already.
Well, we have.
Suggest that they're not proven Premier League players. We don't know how they're going to cope with the Premier League. So we've already got enough of those players. We're not going to go out and buy more of those players when we get promoted, or if.
Of course, we're thinking a bigger picture. We need to be signing
proven Premier League players or players of that quality. That's what
you're right. If they've signed, if they've got an obligation, yeah. I mean, I think you're 90% right. There is, of course, an argument that we have to get up as well. So that is the current 100. Yeah, we can't be 100% focused, but it's current X amount focus, whatever that is.
That's right. But we're not going to go buy Archer for 15 million because he might be good for 6 months and then he's a bag of shit in Premier League. That's what I'm saying to you. So it's got to be a loan only, and I think that's what they're looking at is loan onlys.
And I agree, but I think with a loan only and trying to get good enough players, I don't think we'll get the level of player required. Because why? Like everyone goes, they're not guaranteed to play for Leeds. They come down, they're good enough. They're going to play for Leeds. Like Arch would start up front for Leeds United as soon as he's got any sharpness about him. He might have it already. In playing games, he starts straight away.
I believe that.
There's no doubt about that. He's that good. But I think if he's looking at just loaning players, I mean, so they might be saying Arch has not been want to be part of the worst team in Premier League history. I think that's they're saying in that certainly. Why would he come down to Leeds? I mean, ultimately Southampton aren't going to release him for that either, are they? As with one case, you're right. How many cases are there and opportunity to loan a player without any long-term thinking for them or us to actually come down to the Championship for half a season? I just don't know how much.
I think it's a crazy move for Southampton to get rid of him, because, for what reason would they? They're going to come down, but he's probably magnified and back up in their eyes. We know what he can do in the Championship, so I understand why he wants to go. But he's also got a contract, and I'm sure it's a big one. He's only been there half a season. So for me, why would they want to get rid of him? They've already lost Ben Brayton Diaz. He's already gone. So it's probably a lot of moving factors that we've got as exit this one basket, and we're probably relying on Southampton bringing in one, if not two, centre forwards before they even let him go. But for me,
what they've said, isn't it?
No, it is. And people are looking at his stats like Sean Ely putting his stats. I think he scored 2 goals in 2 seasons. But I think that's not a fair sort of stick to beat him with. When you look at the division he'll be playing in if he comes to Leeds, he joined Middlesbrough in January 2 years ago, I think it was, right? And he got 17 goal involvements from January onwards. 10 goals, 7 assists. If he comes to Leeds and does anywhere near that, we romp the league by 10 plus points. That's how different it could be if we sign him. The problem is long term, like Adam says, if we had until end of the year and then it's an option, that's great. That works for both parties in my eyes. Yeah, if it's an obligation, it's a lot of money it's a lot of money to gamble on a player that might not be able to do it. We already know, like you said, we already know Bogle's played in Prem. Is he good enough? Played in a bad side. Ampadu, a lot of these players. And then even Farker, you've got your manager. Yeah. We've got doubts over manager. What you don't want is doubts over several of your players as well. So that is a problem when you're talking about a £20 million put. So, but what you said earlier to me, Sean, is there's potentially Iniacho floating around, right? And we don't know how credible these are. But Iniacho would just be a loan. Yeah, that could work.
Iniacho's there for a loan.
Just a loan, no obligation. That could work better.
No
for
obligation. Exactly. That'll work perfect for us. Now you've just said about Southampton are only going to let Archie go if they get a replacement. Who's going to go to Southampton? Yeah, bottom at Premier League, 6 points. Come on, no one wants to go play for them, do they? So if we're waiting on that, again, we're crazy. It's stupid. Let's move on. Let's move on to his next target from Archer. That's what I'm thinking. Because if he comes in and scores 8-10 goals, we're all going to fall in love with him, aren't we?
Yep.
Cameron Archer. Yep. And then, all right, they might see something and think, well, is he better than Joseph? Possibly. So then he becomes the second option or an option for the future. But I still think we'd still need another striker in the Premier League.
100%. Problem is, without getting an Iniacho, he is just a 9. Yeah. Someone like Archer can do both very well. And I think that's what he's wanting, someone who can do them both.
Do you think he'd play him in the 10?
Potentially, yeah.
I'm happy if he could come in and play in the 10, fine. But my worry is it's not going to be a loan. It'll be a loan with an option to buy, and Southampton aren't going to let him go for that. So we need to move on. We need to move on quickly.
Falk's now even a stronger position than he was in the summer on transfers. He's, so we are limited probably to UK, England probably mostly, obviously, and Germany. So we don't really go, because Schmidt came from Swiss, wherever, and he's not got looking. Falk doesn't even like him. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't really count him. So he is Germany. Then you're going, okay, then you've got Falk's 3 points where they've got to be a great guy and not, whatever. And then the board's got to be able to sign it off financially. And then Falk, we know he's risk averse. He wants someone that he knows can hit the ground running. So they've got to be good enough. He's got to know they're better, not think they might be. Now, it can't be Samuel Saiz, who like playing Spanish second division, class player. He'd be brilliant for us right now. But far can go for him, that sort of player, no chance. There's lots of those sort of players about, but he's not going to take a risk on anyone. If he's not going to take a risk, he's don't hit a 3 points financially, and then they're going to come in on just a loan or a loan with obligation 10 million's fine probably, because it doesn't take a massive lump. It's just you got to hit so many points that I don't think we're left. I think it leaves so few players that we are where we are. And they're trying to Archer 3 days into it. Nothing's changed at Southampton from the first day of January, other than Archer's playing a bit less. And
they've lost a striker already, which makes it harder to get Archer. They've already lost a striker.
Yeah. Well, sorry, that's the only thing changed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
that's a wild comment, because he has been playing for us, Southampton.
21 games, 52 minutes on average.
The last few games, he's started to feel and he's come on.
It's not agents. Leeds definitely want him. Leeds definitely keen. Leeds talking, but it's just Southampton aren't interested. And Leeds are still interested. Southampton changed their minds in the next 2 days. That's the only thing that changes. Or Leeds going with a stupid offer.
This is the thing. Are we just picking him, and we're just going to drag it out now and wait till end of the transfer window instead of moving on to a different target? That's my worry.
But I think that's it, and you're absolutely right. We are just looking at him. Maybe one or two others potentially, probably even harder to get because of all the criteria Fark puts around it. The 3 things: the price, the who, where they're based. He's got to know they're better. That's a real massive limitation.
What are we after? Because
I think we're after
are we after somebody who's better than Piroe, or are we after somebody just to replace Bamford?
I think we're after.
Farker keeps mentioning about Bamford's injuries.
He's after a starter. He's not a massive fan of Joseph, and Piroe, exactly the same player, got dropped for Bamford last season. He wants a Bamford. He wants a fit firing Bamford. Last season, Bamford still starts right now for Leeds United. He just does. He wants that player. He wants an all rounder. He doesn't really like either striker. He's never going to say that, but I'm fairly certain how he feels, and he's shown that at different times. He started the season with Joseph, and Piroe was exactly the same player then. Piroe scored some sub goals, and I can't really not start him. Joseph wasn't doing enough starting.
It boggles my mind how we can't find another striker who's better than Bamford.
Yeah,
it really does. It blows my mind.
Yeah, but that's because strikers, you're wanting a striker that can do what Bamford did in his prime, which is more than 15 goals a season, which is 20 plus million probably in this market.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But he's not. Yeah, but he's not getting that. What Bamford is someone who can press and someone who can pull defenders about.
But you want him to score as well.
Now there is players who can do that, but they're not getting them in. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm not after somebody who can come in and score 15, 20 goals. Bamford, he did it, a couple of seasons. He's never going to do that now. So what are we looking at? Are we looking at someone who can replace Bamford now, who can just press and hold up the ball and bring other players into it and occupy defenders? Or we're looking at someone who can score, like you just said, 15, 20 goals. That's what I'm trying to get at. Because we haven't got that in Bamford anyway.
No, we haven't.
No. But I think it's interesting. I think, last year's Bamford starts for Leeds United right now. Because he knocked Piroe out of the team, and he thought Joseph was the new Bamford in terms of getting around players, hassling everyone, scoring the odd goal, being the focal point of the team.
Yeah.
But he hasn't done it. So he's gone back to Piroe again, and I don't think he knows. We all say and moan and everything, but he knows limitations of both players. Bamford's never fit. Bamford's not the player he was. Bamford's not the player he was last season. He came on against Norwich. He couldn't even run. I could run backwards faster than Bamford could have run forwards, I reckon.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, what I will say is that I firmly believe the 49ers and Daniel Farke are after 1 or 2 targets, genuinely do. But I also think they're not going to be as stressed as a lot of the other sides have been in January, because I firmly believe they think we're going up as well. All they'll be thinking of is that we didn't do it last year, we didn't go up. That'll be in the mind. They're not stupid, they're smarter people than we are. But I genuinely believe that they believe that we're going up. Look at Adam there. I genuinely they'll think the same as us. They'll look at that. Obviously, they see day-to-day running and stuff, and they'll know. Look at the data, everything. When you're at the top of a tree like that, you look at the data. You like looking at numbers, Adam, yourself. You look at the data, and it shows who's number one, and that those numbers don't lie. So they'll be very confident for the next 16, 17 games. We can do what we've done for the first 20 odd games. So I don't think they're going to be that stressed. I think it's going to be more pleasing for the fans, and it probably is for for anybody else, to be fair. I mean, do you think Brendan Aronson's going there thinking, I hope they bring a 10 in because I want a rest? He won't be thinking that. Piroe won't be wanting another striker in, let's be honest. I know it's good to get that group will be very confident, I believe. Very confident. Look at the injuries we've had this season. I know they've been in midfield and we've had cover. We've had to bring cover in with Gilavogi. We've had to hope Rothwell were good enough and Tanaka were good enough, unproven at the time. That side, Strout comes in and out. That side has had massive injuries. And we look where we are. So I don't think they're going to be as stressed about it. I think they'll be quite calm, putting their eggs in maybe a couple of baskets. And if it don't work out, it don't work out. There'll be a bigger outcry from the fans, I think, than what there will be with inside Ellen Road.
I agree. I think they're content. I think they're content with the squad. I think they're happy with the squad.
Hence why 20-odd million for Archer might just be too much.
Well, I think they're looking at the bigger picture, and obviously they've got to. It's a business. They've got to start next season. We can't have Augustine where we spend 40 million on him with wages and go. We can't spend it on someone else. If that was spent on someone else, we might still be in the Premier League alone off the back of that. Maybe a manager, but you can't. I think. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. You go, Sean. I've gone.
I mean, I don't know if we've sent voice notes to each other all week, but.
What are you wearing?
I've said to you, I just want two players who's going to come in and it's going to take Bamford's spot in the squad because he's never fit and he's never available, and also Gilavogi because I can't see what Gilavogi brings to the team now. And I'm sorry, guys, he is a nice guy, great to be around and all that, but he's not an option for anything else apart from bringing him on in the last 3 minutes. To me, that's a waste of a spot in the squad. And as much as coming and helped us when we were covered.
Hey, I can do a hell of a lot in 3 minutes.
but it's
a hell of a lot.
We can bring somebody else in.
Get one sock off.
Spot. Thanks, Gilavogi. You've been great. What you needed to do. You came in. You helped us when we had injuries. Apart from that, he offers nothing for us in terms of tactical perspective.
I do feel like that game against Harrogate really hampered people's feelings towards him, if I'm honest.
Well, no, because it probably showed that he's not good enough. He just came in to fill a void. And now we've got a chance to fill them voids, i.e. in Bamford and Gilavogi, bringing two able-bodied players in, ideally a 9 and a 10. That's what we need to be doing. And on loan, yes, I agree, because we're not going to overpay for somebody in the January transfer window. That's what I'm sitting here thinking. And when I look at the squad, the only ones that are, for me, are the weakest links is Gilavogi and Bamford.
So, Sean, have you made peace that we're not going to buy anyone? Have you made your peace with that? Yeah.
I think we all need to make peace with that. Could happen because I do think we've probably got 2 or 3 targets. Maybe we've got a couple after Archer. But
what is it that Daniel fact that we won't go to sleep or something like that?
Oh, fuck God's sake! I can't watch his press conferences with that rubbish. By the way, so Leeds got the chart targets. The players we want, their clubs will know we want them. Nothing's going to change from Leeds' perspective over the weekend. So they've put their feelers out for probably 3-4 players maximum, even though it's 2 free positions. And then something changes their end, then we may get them. But how unlikely is that between them unless we do a stupid offer? So on that basis, because we are where we are, we're so close to the window. I know a lot could happen the last day, but I just I can't see any player we want that suddenly that club's looking to get a player into a play like they're looking to go. Oh wait, I can't see it happening because nothing will change our end. As I say, we've reached it. We put the feelers out, and now we'll just wait.
Yeah, I mean,
Ben Sheaf's a really good player, but what's he going to do? What's he going to do at Leeds United? Like, where does he help Leeds United?
Oh, Adam,
I agree.
Ben Sheaf.
No, just put Ben Sheaf. Yeah, we don't need another midfielder.
He's injured anyway. Ben Sheaf.
Yeah, he's a good option, but he's not for us. He's a good player, but not for us. So, lads, unless we want to be previewing the Cardiff game, while the game's being played, we best move on there now. So Cardiff, we play them tomorrow, 3 o'clock at Ellen Road. Game I'm going to be in the COP. I've been in the COP for years. So really looking forward. Down by corner flag. Give their subs a bit of stick. Give our subs a bit of encouragement. Sing them a song. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Can't wait, to be fair. How we're thinking it's going to go, because I'll just get it out there. You know me. I normally say 3-0. I think 4-0. I know they're on a really good run. 8 unbeaten, including the cup games, 7 league games. I know stats I've got on my side. I did a bit of homework for this one, but I just feel looking at who they beat and who they played. Yeah, they beat Sheffield United away in the FA Cup, but that would have very changed Sheffield United side. I look at those sides they've beaten. There's no one really jumping out at me. Watford away with a decent result, but I'm thinking Leeds United. We know what we're like at home. We can go on about them on an unbeaten run. We're on what, an 11, 12 game unbeaten run, as self, and our own form is formidable. So I think it's going to be 4-0. I think there might be a couple of changes. I'm sort of thinking Firpo gets his start in this one. People have argued it's come a day too soon, but I think Firpo comes in and I think Rothwell comes in for Gruev. I don't think Piroe comes out, and I certainly don't think Aronson comes out, lads. Over to you guys.
I think Gruev starts another game. I think he wants Gruev around doing midfield every single football game. I think he loves it, and I don't feel whilst Amtiv's playing centre back, Gruev will be in midfield.
You think?
Yeah, I do. I think he just Cardiff aren't obviously a terrible side. They're a decent record. Obviously, we should win. I'm very Leeds centric in everything I do, though. So I don't really look at other teams until I see them on the pitch. So if Sean's got any stats to help me out in terms of form or anything, that'd help me out quite a lot.
Quick, before you go into it, Sean, do we reckon, like Dr. Cox says here, if Firpo didn't play tomorrow, would we start reading something into him maybe going? Is he one to watch out for tomorrow, whether he starts or comes off at bench? Because if he plays, he's staying. If he doesn't play, I'd say he's definitely going, because I would expect to see Firpo come on in this game with not playing against Burnley, considering his last performance, he came on and changed game.
I don't know. I think if he starts, he's staying. Sorry, Sean, you go.
Sorry, Adam.
Breaking protocol, man.
Daniel Farkas said, nobody's knocking on his door asking to leave. I just personally think Firpo's going to just wind down his contract and go at end of the season.
I do. But if he didn't play tomorrow, Sean, would that change your thinking, or still not?
No, not at all.
Right.
And I think any team coming in would probably won't want to do that as well. I think they know he's not got long left on his contract. They're willing to wait till summer for me. So I think he's just going to go in the free end of the season. No, I've got no worries if he don't start tomorrow, as long as he's in the squad. If he wasn't in the squad, different situation. But if he's in the squad, he's here for me to end of the season.
It does seem like a perfect match to bring him back in, though, doesn't it? Like he's played for some minutes. He's trained for a few weeks now. We're away on Wednesday as well, aren't we? So Byron may play that one. So it does make a lot of sense starting Firpo. So if he doesn't start, I think for me, it feels obviously the door's ajar, it's not. But it feels like the door may be ajar if he doesn't start. I'd still be surprised if he moved, though. But I don't mean the jar as in if a big comes in, we might accept it. I mean what the club's thinking is. I'm not 100% what his thinking is if he doesn't start. I think there could be something what you're saying, Matty. But if he does start, you say that's
at least coming on. Same, home game, exactly the same as what we saw last week. 20 minutes. If he plays Byron at left back and Byron plays 90 minutes, Sean, there's more into it than there's got to be. For me, Firpo gets minutes in this game.
Possibly.
And I love Byron top banana. I'm a massive Byron fan. He's one of my favourite players. And when I go to a game, I want to see Byron play every game.
But how many minutes have they played since he come back from injury? Not a lot, is it? No, Firpo.
No, not many. But
20 minutes.
He was easing him back in, wasn't he, with 20 minutes? But that was 2 games ago now. He didn't play at all against Burnley. If he don't play in this one, there's more to it. That's all I'm
what I mean.
saying.
Is he fit enough to play 90 minutes at the minute? Who knows? I would start him tomorrow, definitely. So obviously Cardiff sitting 18th in the league. They've not lost in 8 games. Don't read too much into that. They had a good win.
Sean, I don't mean to butt in. Sorry, mate. I know we said we weren't going to do it again, but I can't help it. I'm the stat man. Sorry, carry on, mate.
Not even going that in depth.
Sean, stop fucking about.
Yeah, they had a good win in the FA Cup against away at Sheffield United, but obviously I think they had a weakened team in Sheffield United. They've scored 33 goals, but they've conceded 44. So, and they have a lot of players out as well. Was it Aaron Ramsey's still out, isn't he, for him? And
is he even still playing football? I didn't know he's still playing football. He's retired. Oh, good for him. Good for him.
I thought him and Jack Wilshere would be in a old people's home somewhere by now playing Scrabble, but now he's still going, is it?
The fact I even mentioned Aaron Ramsey when I was talking about Gary Speed as well, wasn't I?
Yeah.
How long he's been about. So,
yeah.
I mean,
What do you reckon? Tight game.
They've had some decent results, but they've drawn a lot of games, haven't they, this season? Matt, did you mention about their away form?
They've only won one game all season. It were away at Watford, which were decent.
Oh yeah,
one win away from home all season.
Yeah, they used to be as bogey team, didn't they? As bogey side.
I'll start this righteous one. We'll come back to it.
Head to head. I mean, they've won 10 games. We've drawn 5, and we've only beaten them 6 times. So we did go through that point where the Warriors bogey team, but I think we're past that now.
Before you said about Sean not losing an 8, I would have gone like it should be a comfortable win, and that's only if like playing on mine. But like I'd still be absolutely shocked if we didn't win this game. Like it just should be a comfortable win. I don't know a lot about them, but obviously we're a much better side than them. They've got a few half. Callum Robinson scored quite a few goals, I think.
11
goals. 11 goals, 1 assist.
I don't know how. Like obviously he's doing all right for whatever reason. Got old LG, funny old name. But other than that, I think we've had pretty much nearly a week's rest. You can play a full strength side. Everyone should be fresh, ready for it.
Could we see Pascal back, Adam? Yeah, could he be back? Could he be back? Do you think, Pascal?
Oh yeah, yes. Well, he was in the training video, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But how many weeks? He's missed 3 weeks. I'd be surprised if he came back for this one. I think.
Is he needed that much? I don't think he's needed that much. It's not, it's not a big game.
I do think we're a much better side with Strike centre back and Amsterdam midfield.
I agree.
But against Cardiff, yeah, you're right. It's not that important.
We're going to have most of the ball, are we, Adam? We're going to have most of the ball.
Yeah, we are. Again, their threat may come from corner set pieces. I'm not even sure how good. I'm saying that I don't know how good they are at them. I just know how bad we are at defending them. So it's without Struck, we are much weaker at that.
Yeah.
But when Struck's playing, Rodon's head becomes a magnet. He sort of wins every. When Struck's playing, Struck seems to win most headers. When he's not, Rodon suddenly wins all the headers. I know probably just set up in the zonals, but it's I don't think Struck will come back in for this one. I think it'll keep him on ice. Potentially to Coventry, which makes a lot of sense. Get Amtu back in midfield for that.
I think so. I agree. I love this comment from Scooby. Radaby's in last place, criminal, but I voted Batty. I love that. But to be fair, I took them ones together. But we'll have Batty and we'll have Radaby and people.
I'm sure we'll be doing Radaby at some point.
Yeah, 100%. But let me just get into some of these comments here, mate, because it's quite interesting. So you've got Michael Pollard. I started this one. We are not far away from Grove and Amper in midfield, methinks, with Byron at left back. Farker's very cautious and can't help himself. And then to caveat that, Easy's gone on and said, if Farker puts Amper and Grove back in midfield, he deserves to be sacked. But the thing is, what I will say with that, Easy, he won't get sacked because that combination, as negative as it will be, will still get us 1-0, 2-0, and we'll still go up. I don't think playing them two in midfield doesn't send us up. I really don't. I mean, it got us to play a final last year at times, and we probably didn't go up because there were certain factors to that. But the quality isn't there around us for me. So regardless of who he plays, whatever concoction this team fits into an 11, we still go up for me.
By the way, so the midfielders.
I disagree with that, Matt.
Great, bring it on. Come on.
Go on, Sean. You disagree?
I disagree. I think we've played his best football since Tanaka and Rothwell.
I agree. And
I just think if we go back, and I agree with Easy B, back to Ampadu and Gruev again. I think we've just been too cautious, and with this squad we've got.
Sean,
so you getting in place. I honestly think you can't drop Tanaka.
You can't, and he won't. So that won't happen. What he's saying won't happen. It'll be Tanaka and one of, right? No matter what anyone says, right? But what I'm saying is, if Ampadu and Gruev played together, we're still getting 10, 11 wins out of the next 17 and finishing on 90 odd points, and we're going up regardless of them two playing. I don't care what anybody says. We still go up with them two playing in midfield. Are you mad?
The only interesting part about it, though, when he plays two centre backs, and when in build up, you have two DMs, and they both sit right. One comes in between, the other one sits so in front. We don't. They play as they all four of them play as DMs. None of them. You don't see a cross and one of them's breaking the box ever. Any of them ever. Even when it's Rothwell. When's the last time you went wide and you see Rothwell runs box? It doesn't happen, does it? They're always backing play up, all of them. So the most attacking element is probably Tanaka dropping through between the centre backs, and the ability he has on the ball means he can invite more pressure on and give other players more space as a result, 100%. Especially over Gruev, miles ahead of it. So actually, when Rothwell obviously is looking forward more, corners, etc. Yeah. Rothwell's made differential in there, but Rothwell's probably maybe Gruev, but everyone's preferred midfield two is probably Ampadu and Tanaka. That's fair to say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah,
but actually,
when Rothwell came into the team, look how excited we got when Tanaka and Rothwell were in the team, and Rothwell's driving forward with that ball.
Yeah.
We love that. We didn't see it with Gruev and Ampadu. If they can do that, Gruev and Ampadu, I think, Ampadu maybe more so than Gruev, I don't know. Fine. But it's that I've always got it in my head. We're going to see more side-to-side passing with them two in the game, where we haven't got that with Rothwell and Tackett, and we saw it instantly when they come into the side. I understand what you're saying, Matty. We probably will end up winning games, but it's how we go about winning them. And we touch on the eye test. Do you know what I mean? We want that a little bit more excitement from games.
I don't want to see
it when Tanaka and Rothwell came in.
Yeah,
we know we did, and I want to see more of that. Not reverting back to the side-to-side passing and
I agree,
and slowing the play down, which we've all said Ampadu does.
Crazy easy.
We've all said that. We've all said Ampadu does that.
That's a wild take, that, isn't it, Sean? Look at that. It's a wild take by Easy. That it's wild.
Why?
That is particularly wild. Yeah,
you cannot rate a play, but that's wild. Saying you hope he leaves Easy.
He's our club captain, and he's a really good captain.
Apologise there, Easy. Come on, Easy.
Look at his away form. Look how his away form's picked up, lads, when he's come back. Our away form was struggling when he went out injured. He came back and straight away we started winning away from home, getting points away from home. Yeah, I don't know.
Ampadu is the midfielder I'd pick in first out of all four every single time. He'd be in that midfield every single time.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Because his defensive work, and I know we don't need it, or we need it less well, but actually second balls, understanding play. The Rothwell Tanaka, a lot of time players find space against them.
Yeah, wow. I think it's wild that, like, even Danny agrees.
You got to remember as well, he's our captain.
We're all entitled. Yeah, the thing is, we're all entitled to his opinion. But to say he's not, you get rid of him. Like, even if you went up and it weren't good enough, a bench option. I just think it's crazy to say you get rid of him. Anyways, right, all entitled to the opinion. I love it. So what we're going to say is, I want your predictions, lads, for this game, and then we need your predictions for the Coventry game. I'm going 6 points. And I'm going 4-0 in this one. And I think Coventry, I'm actually going to tip us to concede. I think Coventry might be a 2-1 Leeds. What about you two?
Go on, Sean.
I love that.
8-0 Sean's going for.
I've gone 3-1 against Cardiff. Dan James to score. And Coventry, I'm going for a 2-0 away win. And Solomon to score.
Okay.
I didn't agree. I didn't really rate Cooper either. As a legend, I loved him, but I didn't really rate him as a player either. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, captain, unbelievable. Cardiff, I'll go 3-0. Solomon. Coventry, 2-1. Aronson. Yes. Ooh. I don't know why I did that. I regret it immediately.
Is he allowed to change? You're not allowed to change.
No, I don't want to change. Fine.
I never said my goal scorers. I'm going to say Dan James in both. So, everyone get your scores in.
You noticed how Nobby's picked a striker to score?
No. Everybody get the scores in for both games, Cardiff and Coventry, and put a goal scorer down for both games. Adam's going to populate the table, and we're going to end up with this again next week. At the minute, World Rights is winning. So get it in. We'll populate again next week, and we'll have a look. So really interesting. Really gets everyone involved in chat. Something to play.
There will be a prize. There will be a prize of some description at the end of the season.
It's a date night with Adam. That's what I think.
Yeah, it is. That's right. And you're paying someone. Whoever's coming with me, they're paying as well.
So let me just start a few to sort of end on, because that's pretty much it, I think, lads. We've been going now on 20 minutes. It's been a good one.
Let's answer some questions.
I just want to bring out this one that I started. So Cy333 says there's talk of us getting a striker, but don't you think if we got a decent 10 instead, it could really fire Jose and Piroe into life? The question is there a 10 out there? So the player will link with Cameron Archer is more a 9 than a 10, but he can play both. So I think that works well. An out 10 would have been in my position would have been Buendia, which we know can't happen. But if I could pick, I think Piroe gets the goals with an outstanding 10 playing behind him. So actually, yeah, I'd probably agree. I mean, if you get Archer and he plays at 9, and he ain't getting the ball from Aronson, there could still be a problem there. Granted, he's a better player than I think he's probably a better all-round player than Piroe. Whether he gets Piroe's numbers, I don't know. But there's an argument to say a specialist 10 would be better than a specialist 9 in this side. It's not a bad point that side for me, in my opinion.
Totally agree with that. I think that's a great point.
I do.
We get a number 10, a specialist 10, that could really unlock.
I think so.
Piroe and Joe.
But he'd have to do a lot of running as well. He'd have to be a 10 that was a flair player but did a lot of running. Yeah. He'd have to do that as well.
Yeah. He needs a bit to do with everything, doesn't he?
I think so.
Create, score, and press. But I totally agree. I think that's the type. That's the different type of profile 10 Farker's on about.
Depends on the profile, doesn't it? If it's a Buendia. Sorry, I think my picture's lagging anyway. I'm going to speak away. Just close your eyes and imagine I'm moving properly. If it's a Buendia, I think yes, absolutely. How many Buendias are there? How many player 10s at that level? I think then other profile potentially becomes a second striker, sort of, like a 6'2" guy that isn't necessarily going to create more for the strikers, but ends up getting in the box more and scoring more goals for them. And that becomes a differential in that. So it depends on say like Buendia, someone, I don't think, how many Buendias are there out there? Not many are there that possibly come to the championship. None. No. Right now there's none. Let's get that right. Gus Hamer or something, but obviously he's not coming over. But someone like that, a really creative one. But I think that there's a point there. If I could choose one player, I would choose a creative 10, but obviously I don't think they're out there to get. That's the problem we've got.
No, I agree. Just a quick and Danny, will you please put Sean's channel in the chat? Wilco White's for me, please. Everyone who's in here, there's 51 people in here now. Please go and check Sean out on Wilco White's, please. And you can't check Adam out unless he gives us a twirl. That's the only way you can check him out.
Check me out when you want. Only fans.
Please check out Sean at Wilco White's. Daniel bang his link in chat. So last few I've started, they're not really questions. You sort of touched on the beginning. So Righteous one, that's when I started following Leeds the season before Speedo went, and we had Yeboah and Dean up front. Class time. Speedo and Macca, what players? Anyone who's coming late? We started the stream with a touch on Gary Speed, who won the poll from last week of the legend players who we had on the poll. We've got some more in there. I hope everyone in there has clicked someone on the poll and we'll reveal who's won this week. I think we already know. Yeboah, because of his 2 wonder goals at Leeds, less than 2 years. Batty and Radaby were solid, but the big donkey Viduka was classed year after year. The big donkey. So how you can say he's a big donkey, but still like no, I would class as well. It's a funny one, Viduka, because everyone sort of it's mad at it. People compare Piroe to Viduka, and not in terms of quality, but he's like where he plays. But I tell you what. Viduka was probably my favourite player those years at Leeds. He was absolutely class. I loved him. Absolutely loved him. So, shall we get into poll, lads, and have a quick look before we end it?
Let's.
Hold on 1 sec. There's Wilco White's link there. No, that's Danny Rumsey's. There's Wilco White. Please click on there. Go see Sean. Give him some subscribers. He's trying to get to 100. I'd like to get in there as soon as possible, please. This show should be aiding that. Great value. Statman Sean. We might have to start playing Scatman over there as well if it pulls them in, I think.
It's my intro.
Yeah, Alan Austin there, 10 is hard to find at this level, especially, mate. And then in Premier, it's even more expensive in it. So let me just have a look at the poll. In 4th place, Radaby on 12%. In 3rd place, Viduka on 28%. Yeboah, it's gone off now. I can't see it. Can you guys see that? Anyway, Yeboah has won it. Yeboah's won it.
What percentage?
By a landslide. I don't know, mate.
Massive.
I clicked 10-4 while I clicked 10-4 while I was reading it. Someone in chat will tell me I can't see it on here. You know me, I'm proper average at this stuff. But yeah, no, there you go. No, there you go. It was tighter than I thought. Radaby on 12%, Batty on 24%, Viduka on 27%, Yeboah on 36%.
Yeah.
36%. Viduka got 27%.
So that's my boy for next week, then, isn't it?
Yeah, Darren, I assume that's for Wilco White's. Cheers, mate. Alan, cheers, Wilco White's. I hope anyway. If you subscribe to mine tonight, great. Darren, Alan, mine and Sean's, please, great. Yeah, Yeboah on 36%. I thought we were going to be a bit more of a landslide than that, but that's fair play. Yeah. So we will open next week's show talking about Tony Yeboah for 5 or 10 minutes, which will be a really easy and really enjoyable 5 or 10 minutes, won't it?
It will. Yeah, my favourite player as well. Absolutely love him.
Has anybody else got anything else to say before we wrap it up?
Next week, we'll have a 10, a 9, a new centre back,
Ooh,
6 points. What a show it's going to be!
Oh, you bigged it up now.
Well, we'll have 2 games to touch on, which will be decent. 2 games to talk about, and then a look into who's after that. Is it the Millwall game?
Is that
the cup?
Yeah, it's the cup against Millwall and on the Saturday, and then it's Watford on the Wednesday.
Wilco White's now on 83 subs. Great. Yeah, sound
Thanks, guys.
Tickle those likes on your way out, please. Yes, do. And seeing as I was started on Gary Speed, which is a great segment to start with, I'll leave you with this quote I seen today. You have within you right now everything you need to deal with whatever the world can throw at you. We'll leave it on that. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. A big win. Thanks for Adam and Sean. Thanks for everyone in chat. Love you all, and I'll see you over the weekend.
Ciao.
Leeds.